Hey, sixth graders, Mr. Irving here. Oh, sorry, turning my phone off. Okay. Hey, I'm here to do another video. This video is the follow-up video to these three activities. Remember that I'm in Module 5, and we're learning about geometry. We're learning about area. So down in Module 5, you'll see a video, or a video called Area of Triangles. It's a 5-minute video. It's right here, followed by a little 4-question exercise and then an article. My recommendation is to watch the video and then go to the article and then do the exercise. I don't know why they're in this particular order, but I found the video to be wonderful. I've actually never calculated area of a triangle the way that he does in that video. I've learned it a different way. And the way that I learned it was the way that this article teaches you. So if you can look at this triangle behind me, I'll show you real quick how I learned it. Remember, area is just how many square units occupy this triangle. So that's all we're doing here. But as you learned in the video, a triangle is half of a parallelogram. Okay, it's also half of a rectangle. So what you can do is you can take a little triangle like this. You can identify your base. Remember, base is sort of a fancy math term for bottom. And then, of course, the height has to be perpendicular to that. So perpendicular means going straight up, forming a 90-degree angle right there. Okay, this is not my height. This is not my height. A lot of students get that confused. All right, your height is the direct distance from your base to the highest point in that triangle. So this right here would actually be your height. Okay, take off the H. We'll just call it height. Okay, so remember the formula that he showed us in that video was that the base. Sorry, let me get my eraser. I don't know where my eraser is. That's okay. We'll use my fingers. Remember that the area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times height. Okay, that's the formula he shows us in that video. Well, the way I learned it was like this. You have a triangle just like this, and to prove that this triangle is exactly half of a rectangle, I can actually just cut it into 2 triangles, which I've kind of already done. I've got a green side over here, and then what I'll do is I'll color this side red. And now, if we just go ahead and flip these 2 triangles on their edges right here, for example, if I were to just flip it over like this, you would see that it would form another triangle right there. And if I were to take this red triangle right here and I were to flip it over on this edge, you would see that it would form another triangle right there, which is basically giving us a rectangle, or if you will, a parallelogram. But basically, there's your proof that this triangle is exactly half of a rectangle. Well, we know that the area of a rectangle can be found by solving length times width, or in other words, base times height. So for a triangle, you just take that number and you cut it in half. Half of the base times the height will always give you the area of a triangle. Okay, so yeah, hopefully you've watched that video by now. Do the article, and then, of course, you have these 4 exercises. And these exercises are really simple. I had a hard time figuring out how they graded them because you actually have to draw on one of them. But if I go to my whiteboard here, trying to make that bigger. I don't know if I can make that bigger. Okay, so an example of a question you're probably going to see is this one right here. I'm trying to make it larger. It won't let me. Okay, now we can. Okay, it says a height is labeled on the triangle below. Which line segment shows that the base that corresponds to the given height of the triangle? Okay. So again, remember my triangle that I had up here in the beginning? If I get rid of these lines that I put here, remember that, depending on how I turn this triangle, my base could change. See, now this could be my base down here at the bottom. And remember that if I turn it the other way, this could now be the base of my triangle. And if this were the base of my triangle, I would have a brand new height right here. So depending on the angle that you're looking at a triangle, that could really determine where your base and your height are. So in the example over here, I don't know why this is there. I'm trying to move this thing out of my way here. There we go. That's just how it's going to have to be. Okay. So you can see right here that the height goes from right to left. In other words, the triangle is kind of on its side. So what it's asking us is which one of these lines, A, B, or C, is the base? Well, if our height is this direction right here, this distance represents our height. Remember, I had told you the base has to be perpendicular to the height. So if the height is going this way, the base has to be going this way. Okay? In other words, the answer would be A. Okay, because A is the only line segment here that forces a 90-degree angle, and you can even see the little box right here that forces a 90-degree angle with the height. Okay, another type of question you're probably going to see is one like this, where it's asking you to match the base to the corresponding height. So over here on the left-hand side, let me get my marker out here. You can see that we have three different, that didn't work. You can see that we have three different bases. And over here, you can see that we have three different heights. And all we're being asked to do here is just draw a line from the triangle on the left that matches the height on the right. So for example, this triangle right here, with the base over here on this edge, okay, needs to match the height where the height is over here on this edge. You can see that that forms a 90-degree angle. And looking at these three options, well, the only one that makes any sense is that middle one right there. So just draw a line, okay? And again, I don't know how that's supposed to be graded by the computer, but just press the button that says skip for now, and don't worry about your final score. Look at this one right here. This one here has the base over here on this edge, which makes the height having to be this edge. Okay, so that matches with this triangle up here. And of course, last but not least, we have a base down here at the bottom. We have a height that is perpendicular to that here. So those two have to match, okay? So that's how you do the exercise. It's just being able to identify which part of the triangle represents the base and which part of the triangle represents the height. And also keep in mind, when you have an obtuse triangle, the height could actually be outside of the triangle. Okay, I'll give you a quick example of that. For example, if my triangle is like this, okay, keep in mind that the base is still going to be one of these line segments. That's not what I wanted. I wanted yellow. Okay, this is still going to be the base, but remember that this is no way is this line right here the height, and there's no way that this line right here is the height. What we have to do is we have to extend the triangle and represent the height right here. Okay, because again, I can't do it here, but again, imagine taking your base and drawing a line straight up. There's your height. Okay. All right. So I know that this is very tricky on the internet, but this is exactly what we want you to do. Okay. Calculate the area, identify the base and the height of triangles, and then in the next video, in the next exercise, you'll actually be calculating area using the formula 1/2 base times height. Okay. So good luck. See you next video.